Hey guys! So the other day I went into the kitchen to grab myself a cup of tea and this happened. It's cold. Much better. It just seemed way easier than firing up the kettle. Welcome to Edit with Rune. I'm Rune. And as you can see, I've had quite some fun in After Effects and Premiere Pro, and I want to show you how you can use these two programs to create these really simple and fun effects. The lighting from a hand, the fog in glasses, as well as the steam coming from the cup. If you're new to this channel, I usually do these video and photo editing tutorials, as well as showcase some of the gear that I use for photography and filmmaking. So if you like content like that, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Perfectly executed. So starting out, you want a clip to work with, preferably one that's stationary, meaning on a tripod or something like that, because it's easier to start out with the tracking data. So once you've got a character that does something like this, or hey, or I don't know, something like that, jump into Adobe Premiere Pro so you can follow along. Let's dive into it. Okay, so inside Premiere Pro, first thing you want to do is add your clip into the project. So next thing would be to add the clip down to the timeline. So now it's in the timeline. I want to review where do I want the lightning effect to start. That looked like a pretty good spot. Anywhere else? I think we'll just settle with one lightning for this clip. So I'll scrub back and see there. That looks like a good spot. So now I want to go over and pick the razor tool because I need to cut out where I want the lightning to start and where I want it to finish. Since you can't add it to an adjustment layer, Adobe. So after you've made those cuts, you'll go over to the effects panel and then search for the lightning effect. So the lightning effect will just be dragged over and then added to the small section of the clip. Now it's actually a small lightning in the middle of the screen. So now it's just a matter of adjusting the start and end point of the lightning. So I'll go to the beginning of the clip and then make some keyframes to the start and end point of the lightning. So here I'll just change the start position of the lightning and the end position. And I'll go over to the panel over here and then add some keyframes. And now it's just scrubbing through the clip frame by frame and then making the small adjustments to the start and end point as needed. So I'm simply going through the clip one frame at a time, just making those small changes. So I'll just move it down here, scrub a bit through, move it a little bit to the right, go through a couple of frames. And you can see that it's adding small keyframes to the lightning effect. Yeah, that was it. So let's just review it. Wow, it looks pretty cool actually. So, but I think I'll make a small adjustment to the endpoint of the lightning because I want it a bit more attached to the cup itself. Yeah, looks pretty cool, huh? So you can do a bunch of changes to the lightning itself, the color, the width, the amount of branches that it has. So there is a fair bit of customization available here. So, but I think, let me just look it through again. It looks a bit intense, so I think I'll dial back the branching again. So yeah, looks pretty cool. Okay, so next we want to add our steam overlay. So we'll right click on the clip and select Replace with After Effects Composition. This will open up After Effects because we want to create some tracking data. So here we'll right click and then select New Null Object so we can add our tracking points to the null object. So we'll just move the null object into place and then right click on the clip and select track and stabilize, track motion. This will add a small track point which will just move into preferably a high contrast area, for instance this part of the cup. Then we'll stretch it out a bit, and now we can go down and then just make sure that it's the right clip, then start the tracker. So now After Effects will just analyze the clip, going frame by frame, and you can see if the track point moves out of place. You can always stop the tracking and go back a few frames and change the tracking point and then move it into place. Then restart the tracking. So I think I'll just speed it up. Yeah, so now the tracking has finished and you can see all of these keyframes that we just want to move over to the null object. So we'll hit the edit target and then select our null object, hit apply and say okay. Now all of these tracking points have been moved over to our null object, and we can see all of the keyframes down here. And as we scrub through, we can see that the red square moves along the tracking clip. So now we just want to add our smoke overlay, which will be our steam in this case. So we'll change the blend mode to screen and then move the smoke into place. Now it's actually a bit large because it's the same clip as the composition, or same size. So I'll just resize it and then try to move it into place to the best of my abilities. So, and I'll pick whip it to the null object. So now that you can see that the steam is actually following the tracking data. But I want to create a small mask because I don't like the edges around the square smoke overlay. So I'll use the pen tool in order to create a small mask around the edge of the cup. And then around the overlay itself, preferably inside of the overlay. So I'll just finish it off over here. Now if I play it back, you can see that the small mask is doing its job, but I don't like the hard edge. So I'll just select the smoke layer and then change the feather a bit to maybe 100. And then if I play it back, you can see now it's actually pretty good. But you could still do some adjustments, but I'm pretty satisfied with this. So the final effect I want to do is actually the foggy glasses. And I really like this one because it uses the same technique with the tracking data as we started with. So I'll just right click down here and then add a new null object. And now it's a pretty good idea to rename them. So I'll name this tracking cup and the other null object tracking glasses, I think. So now I just want to add some tracking data. Well, first I'll actually cut this down to size. So I want to add some tracking data to the glasses. So I'll right click on the clip and again hit track and stabilize, then track motion, and I'll move the tracking point to inside of the glasses, the frame of the glasses. And I'll just resize the track box right here, resize that one, and now I'll just hit the analyze button. And it'll do its thing just as before. And as before, we can always stop it and then move it as we want to. But I'll just fast forward through this. Yeah, now it looks pretty good actually. We've got our tracking points. So we just want to add the target to the tracking glasses null layer and hit apply. And now all of these tracking data has been added to the null object tracking glasses. So yeah, looks pretty good. So we just want to add a small solid layer. Just go up, solid, yeah, and we'll add a white solid layer. So, and I'll just change the opacity settings to around, let's say 30%. So now you can see through the solid layer. I want to, again, simply just do a mask with the pen tool. I'll just zoom in a bit so I can see what I'm doing. Scrub up, then, yeah, choose the pen tool again. So I'll create a small mask, and this will appear like steamy glasses. I'll just create a small shape right here, then add a couple of more keyframe, small points here. Then now that looks pretty nice, and I'll just pick whip it to the tracking glasses. So now it should move around with the tracking data. I'll just zoom out a bit. Now if I play it back, yeah, looks pretty good. You can always go back and do some micro adjustments to the tracking data so it fits better around the glasses. So for now, I'm not really a fan of the hard edge, so I'll just change the feather by hitting F on the keyboard to around, let's say 50-ish. So problem now is that I think it's way too transparent, the layer. So I think I'll change the opacity settings from the 30 to, what was it, 40? Yeah. And now it looks much better. The problem is that the steamy glasses just appear abrupt. So I simply want to add some keyframes so it goes from 0 up to the 40%. So I'll go over here and then, yeah, no, you know what? I'll cut the shape layer down to size, then add a keyframe where I want it to start, then go back and then change it to 0%. And now if I play it back, it should gradually appear. Yeah. Much better. Now I just want to review it back in Premiere Pro. The cool thing about this is that it's really easy. I just want to save my After Effects composition, go back into Premiere, and then all of the things that I've done in After Effects should go through. And you can see here, the smoke is there, the steamy glasses is there. It's just awesome that it's linked so nicely together. So now if I review it, it has the lightning and the steam and the foggy glasses. Okay. Ah, it's cold. Much better. Well, this was really fun to do. If you have any fun ways of utilizing the lightning effect or tracking data or smoke overlays, let me know down in the comments. I would really like to read them and then maybe even do a video about it someday. So yeah, until next time, bye.